if you have something
But
that you would like to share, Course of Miracles, maybe. Yes, Fernando.
no, it's just that it's so good to listen to you, Etienne. Uh, we are constantly wishing and praying that things get better and, and, and stop this crazy nonsense.
Yes, yes,
This
yes. What can you do? This is how they're programmed, and this is what they do. They shoot without noticing what and who and when, and this is, yeah, it comes from the same source. All of this. So yes, yes. Abigail, maybe you'd like to ask something. Cindy, Fernando, would you like to share something that you have read lately, or experience that you had, or musical experience that you had this weekend? Maybe if you want to share, you're most welcome.
just before, so just to share it with you, Eti, that I played with Felipe on Friday. It was uh, quite fun. We had a lot of fun. It was nice, and we are learning how to sample the Moabit songs. Or maybe soon we will be able to play it, to play that songs
Mhm.
with your participation, sampling it, you know. So it is a slow process, but we had a lot of fun playing together.
Were there? Thank you for sharing. Were there um, other friends? I mean, Felipe, you and other friends that you played together with?
Oh, we played only Felipe and I, but we could manage. Now we learn from our music production how to make like a very simple drum set.
Mm-hmm.
So we made like a live drum set, and it was quite simple. But we had friends that it was a birthday
Yes.
from a
Happy
friend.
birthday.
Yes, it was. No, no, not mine, not mine. It was from a friend. It was we played in on a birthday
Mm.
party, let's say, and we had a lot of fun. It was quite nice.
Great, great.
Had some friends, but it was uh, quite, quite nice.
What was the impression from the music, from the text? How was the impression? It was like a birthday association or birthday meeting, and in this meeting you were playing, you and Felipe. How was it, like a birthday party, and you just played for the guys, or?
Yes, we were supposed to play like for 30 minutes,
Hmm.
and it ended up that we played more than 2 hours, and we
Wow,
could not.
intense! This is intense. 2 hours.
It was,
Wow, wow.
it, yes, it was intense. It was quite simple, but quite fun. It was like not programmed at all most of time. We are, but but it was so fun that we keep playing till we got tired. So
Yes.
it was quite nice.
Wow. And what was the impression? That they probably liked it because it
Yes,
it
yes. No,
started
no, people
to me.
were
Yes.
quite happy to listen. Yeah.
Yes. 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 Beautiful to hear that. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing this happening in Brazil. Now, see,
We
Cindy's.
we wish to play with Moabit City, with you and
Yes.
Andrew soon, if it's possible.
We wish to participate too. This weekend was interestingly, Cindy, you asked this weekend is Shabbat Bereshit. Yes. Um, Starting, it was like Shabbat Bereshit. We're starting reading the Torah. Before these 2 days was Simchat Torah. This is basically ending a cycle of the harvest. And there's ending and beginning, which is infinite. Yeah. And then specifically on this Shabbat or before, the connection between Friday evening because there's Friday, there's midnight of Friday, and in a way it starts the Shabbat. So midnight, Friday midnight, and about 2:00 in the morning a.m. the IDF, the Israeli IDF, started a flight, complex flight that was about 3 hours with, I can open the details, but it was an organized operation of the Israeli Air Force with not little airplanes, I mean jets, about 100. And they flew in a duration of 3 hours to Iran, and they operated there from the air, and they enabled certain, let's say, sources that produce drones and missiles and so on, and all kinds of facilities that enables to produce bombs and killing people. So from the air, it was a very complex operation. It was like, the duration of it was 3 hours. And no civilians were hit also, just accurate to prevent more killing. So it was, we didn't know about it. We didn't know. It started at 2 p.m. Yeah, no, a.m. at night, yes, 3 hours. At 4 o'clock, there was a bomb sound into the night. And according to the echo, because with the time you learn to relate to the sounds, yes, it was another one, a drone or something explosive, some kind of a drone with explosive that was taken maybe with David Sling or something, like preventing system that prevents from those things to explode. So it was exploded in the air by the Israeli defense system, but it was a great explosion. At 4 o'clock in the morning, it was still dark. Only around, I think 6 or so, we were, anyway, what could we do? Because to wake in the darkness from a bomb and just something like that into the darkness. Around 6, we already read about what happened in Iran. I mean, all the Israelis came back, I mean, in one piece. And around 7 or so, there was another siren, and with the siren, there was a spoken voice. So I thought, what's happening? Apparently, the second siren, and to the phone, it was like producing a message of there's an earthquake. 4.5 in Richter scale. And I said, what was happening again? And we already knew about what is happening in Iran, meaning, and 4 o'clock in the morning, there was, in the darkness, there was explosive. We just jumped from the beds, what's going on and so. And you are on alert. So around 6, 7 or so, there was another siren with a spoken, we did not manage to catch the spoken words. And then we opened the application, it says, okay, there's earthquake now. And only later, and I said, okay, what's happening? And only later that day, the IDF or the agencies open this message and say this was not an earthquake, though the, how do you say, the systems, yes, read it, the signals read it as an earthquake, but it was not an earthquake. It was basically control explosion. What does it mean? Few kilometers, there is a border between North Israel and Lebanon. They're sharing the same border. So North Israel is basically South Lebanon. Few kilometers from the border, those terror organizations with the aid of Iran and Russia and all of the evil axis, build a long tunnel, few kilometers, with bunkers that's supposed to host terrorists for many, many months. This is before just to describe what was there. There was a tunnel with bases under the ground supposed to host many terrorists. There was like a lot of supply of food and drinking and showers and communications and explosive materials. And from this tunnel, they made this tunnel in the last 15 years, or basically from the last war with Lebanon, yes? They worked in it for 15 years. This was an underground base from which they intended to invade Israel like they did in Gaza in the 7th of October last year. The plan was from this basis under the ground, which is super armed and has ammunition of all kinds. From this base, they supposed to send like different squads of terrorists that will invade Israel from the north and will attack civilians and citizens and do for them Holocaust Zero. This was the intention, to invade and to disable Israel. And yes, it is. So they were supposed One second, please. 1 second. They were supposed to invade, take hostages, to kill, Holocaust 2.0, what happened in Gaza, if you are informed with the details. This was the plan. They worked for it almost 20 years to exterminate Israel. And the IDF detected, a few weeks they're already working in the north. And once they found what is happening there, I don't know what you mean, Abigail, at the moment. I don't know. They were working for 20 years with the Iranians, the Russians, crazy terrorist groups that are being paid in dollars. They found in Lebanon 500 milliards of dollars in cash. They pay. This is how they manage to operate people, by cash. It was like a budget of a state. They found in Lebanon $500 million, $1 billion in cash. So anyway, this is they found later. I see, Abigail. So the tunnel that they were building in the south of Lebanon for the last 15 or 20 years with the aid of all the evil axis in the world, this was the base from which they planned to invade and to disable and to kidnap people and to whatever, murder, kill, whatever, insane actions. And the IDF and to plan, and the IDF located this base under the ground, and of course they map it. They found in it what they found in it, everything, all kinds of ammunitions, communication, food, showers. They prepared to bunker there for a long time, just to send more and more destruction. So the IDF found the base, map it. So what is there in terms of inventory? And they brought engineering units cooperating with the rest units of the army together, and there was like a control explosion of this base. Now, since this base is under the ground and was containing so many explosive, once they operate the explosion, the control explosion with 400 kilos of explosive from Israel's side, the concussion was so huge that the earthquake system graph took it for an earthquake in a scale of 4.5 Richter scala. It seems that there's people are invading here. Please, I need some help. Can you please help? There's invasion. People are starting it. Can you help Fernando disable? Can you, Fernando? People are attacking. There's attack now at the moment. There's attack. Crazy people are coming. You see, this is what is happening. Not just here, all over the place. It's not because of the words, Cindy. It's not. This is craziness. This is non-duality. This is what crazy people do. So, Shabbat morning, like Saturday morning, there was this explosion, controlled explosion, which was received in an earthquake. Only later that evening we heard it was like a controlled explosion that protected us, because if they would have operated on this, luckily they cannot cooperate. The plan was that the people Hezbollah the terrorists from the north will collide and operate with the south attack together, but they cannot, they don't have a word, they cannot agree on anything. And this was Israel luck, because they attack only from the Gaza on 7th of October. If they would have operated together at the same time, it was very complex situation for Israel. Luckily, they never agree, and Israel discovered this tunnel on time and made this control explosion. And yes, this is what we're dealing with, insane people around. The whole desert is insane. This is the meaning of desert. It's insanity. We are surrendered. I mean, this is the location of Israel. Abraham left Ur Kasdim, very crazy place. You can check Ur on the map. This is next to the Persian Gulf. Left this insane place. And this is what is happening. And of course, in these regions, the strongest gorilla makes everybody afraid, and nobody's reject or object. This is how they control the population here all around us. There is no people left in Lebanon and Syria, of course. The Iranian residents are suffering from those crazy people for decades. There was a revolution, Islamic revolution. Also, American were taken as captivities. They were hostages, American hostages, a few decades ago. This is the area here. If you don't guard very well, insanity always takes over. Yes, they don't want refugees. Yes, in Germany, they're already burning every Saturday or weekend in Germany. The people from Gaza moving to Germany, and they come to Berlin, and they took over the streets, and they have violence all over the place. They burn streets. They beat people. They beat reporters. This last Saturday or weekend, they went into, not like Walmart, but how do you say, like in America, they have like buildings, one building, but with a few floors that each floor sells something else, but it's one store. I don't know, in America I used to have it, the word does not come to me now. So in first floor, there's like jewelries. The second floor is just clothes. The third floor is like bags and school bags. And the fourth floor is shoes. Department store, yes. So there is a very famous department store, thank you Cindy, in Berlin. So they ram into it and burn and attack. And they went into university and attacked the team. And the student did not know what to do. And the team had to lock themselves up, and nobody does anything. Yes, so far in Germany. Yes, and the more Israel is fighting to protect its civilians, they're in a way experiencing defeat. Yes, so they will look for the next target, which is Europe, America, whatever. It's people do not notice because they don't have the radar to read this behavior. Wherever they will go, they will cause unrest. Yes, they get, let's say, from the government, German government, some kind of, how do you say, pocket money, since they are refugees on paper. So they get pocket money from the government, but still they have relatives who are there for decades. So they live in their villas in Berlin, and they still get the money as refugees from Gaza. Yes. Yes, and nobody noticed, and everything is so slow. The law, how do you say, legislation and decisions are so slow. And yes, they always, those people are incapable to concentrate or to reach agreement or to act according to logic, or not even logic, rational, just according to nature. What is life? Nature is life, there are seasons, there's a time for everything, like Abraham says in this beautiful lore when he reached the ladder of Tzor in Lebanon. I wish that my place will be with those people who living according to the pace of nature, not like crazy tyrants. Yes. Yesterday, there was like a couple of hours, without rocketing. So the neighbors, they renovated one of the apartments above. So they put like letters saying, please excuse us for the inconvenience on the noise. So they were like pulling, I don't know, tiles. It was quite noisy. So we left the house and we went to the mall. Usually we don't in those days, but since it was not possible to be here, it was like all the time, drilling. So, and we took the bus home, and we wanted to, to leave the bus next to the station, next to home. So there was a lady with a wagon of little granny with a wagon. She went to the supermarket, but the wagon was in the passage. So I said, "Excuse me," when I passed next to, and she was so terrified, and she said, "Azaka, is it alarm? Is it alarm?" And I said, "No, excuse me. I just asked." I moved next to her wagon, and Andre and the other passengers in the bus had to tell her, "No, it's not a siren. It's not a siren." People are so on the edge. Previously on this bus, there were a few kids. They were coming to the bus, very nice kids. I don't know, like 10, 11. They were dressed with outfit like sport or something. They were football team. They were like going to training. Yes, so they took the bus, sitting together, laughing, giggling. Very nice environment after this weekend, you can imagine. Suddenly, I noticed in the station there was like coconut, like electric coconut with a man, and he was having on his head not just a helmet of bicycles people, but he was having a helmet of a motorcycle, like something serious. So, and usually the law says not to bring those scooters into the bus. So he went into the bus. The driver did not object, and he continued to roll his scooter, this coconut, to the children. I noticed he had beads, like a necklace of beads, and he had bracelets of beads from wood, and a marriage ring, wedding ring. And he asked the children, "Where does this bus go? Is it to this village or that?" Village is Kirya in Hebrew. So he asked, and the children said, "Where the bus go?" And he asked, "Where do you go?" And he said in Hebrew, "In the place that you're going, is there a protection?" There is, like, because of the continuous war here, the authorities and the IDF came with a little system called protection. Migunit. This is how they call it, migunit. Protected room, a mobile protected room, or a mobile protected shelter. This is called migunit. So in every area, when there's a need, yes, sometimes next to schools or shops, they bring this with, comes a truck, like a container for the harbor, but it comes with this protected mobile shelter, and they put it, located in spaces that people could run immediately. So this man asked the children, the place that you go with the bus, does it have migunit? I don't know what they answer him, but after he asked this question, he just left the bus. Meaning, he came into the front door, roll with this coconut, few steps into the second door, talk to the children, ask, and he just left the bus. He looked so stressed. We don't know if he was ex-soldier, because more than anything, he just wanted to communicate. He was so terrified. And later the granny asked, excuse me, and she said, is there alarm, alert or something? People are so stretched after 1 year. So stretched. And the intention is to, the more it is continuing, is to harm people's psychological, so to speak, cycle also. That people will have fear, that people will not leave their houses, the children will not go to school. By the way, the home protection unit on Saturday night gave a 48-hour window, that meaning yesterday, Sunday, and today, Monday, children could go to school just for 48 hours, just to enable some kind of regularity. Yes, until today, it's like in the times of Corona, because every night there is, or 48 hours, there's a new evaluation of the situation regarding the signals that the army and the systems receive from the surrounding around us. So this is how it is. Yesterday there was next to Tel Aviv, on the way to Tel Aviv, a person took a truck, ran into a bus, and ran into people who were standing in the bus station, and took dozens, few killed. And this is also a terror activity. Just run into a bus, into passengers standing in the station on the way to work, school yesterday. Yes, this is how it is, yeah. Andre had a poetic terminology for it. Bottomless, naked violence. Bottomless, naked violence. You never know from which or where or when or what a bomb, a missile, a rocket, a drone will come, will explode, if you will manage to take a refuge. And this is not a coincidence. This is not the picture only in Israel. It seems that Israel is a place that is, like people say, down there in the Middle East, this chaotic place, there things like this happen. No. This is not just here. Israel, when Israel hit on Saturday the Iranian spot where they produce drones, to prevent them from producing more drones, those drones are being sent also to Russia. And the Russians are using the drones against simple civilians in Ukraine. This is what is happening. The scale, the depth of what is happening is inconceivable. Is inconceivable. Just if you take the numbers of attacks every day, the numbers of missiles, rockets, drones, explosive, It's inconceivable, not unimaginable. People usually go to the cinema to see action movies with a lot of fire and jumping and cars are rolling and whatever. What is happening here is beyond any imagination, much, much, much beyond. And there's like civilians here, like civilians. The army stretched itself so far, I don't know how, because the army is, let's say, is operating on 7 frontiers at the same time, on 7 different geographical frontiers at the same time. Yes. Yes. Thank you. The Americans have, how do you say, means sometimes in the air or at the sea that support support in a way Israel. Yes, there was a great attack on the 1st of September. Great attack with ballistic, rockets. And the Americans that had a marine, let's say, aid here helped to take few of them. Yes. Yes. There's a communication all the time between Israel and the American operating army units here, because the Americans are operating also next to the Suez Canal, meaning the Russians with the Iranian pay the Houthis in Yemen to shoot and to stop, because what happens is that they operate terrorists next to the Persian Gulf to prevent the shipping route from India to the Suez to the Mediterranean. So, and lately also the Americans and the British started to act against those terrorist groups, which are funded by Iranians and Russians, and so far they did not intervene. What caused the Suez Canal to be paralyzed, because the shipping routes are not moving there anymore, because there's no free shipping, because they are being bombed. So those that the shipping is important for them, they hire private armies to protect them. Look what happens. America used to be wants to keep on the peace in the world, on the order. America doesn't work because there's election at the moment. There's interest. So there is no free shipping. The terrorists are governing the sea. Yes, from the Persian Gulf to the Suez Canal, they have it under their hand. They are shooting any shipping ship that moves there. And those companies needs to hire like private armies to protect them, because what state's supposed to do are not doing. And this enabling the Suez Canal is disconnecting India from the West, and India is pushed to the side. Already Canada disconnected India, and India is pushed again by not having this connection of the water. Those are larger things than local politics or whatever. The shift is huge. Would you like to say something? So, Cindy, to your question, not on foot. They are located in this marine somewhere here in the Mediterranean, and also there's like Air Force units. I mean, units, but like here and there bases, and there's a communication all the time. There is a communication all the time. Yes. So in a way, there are two levels. There is a level of politics when people just releasing titles to the news. This is, don't read it. What is matter is what happening here on the ground. There is a support, silent support. Yes, they aware Israel accommodate all of its action with the Americans. They aware of it. Would you like to say something, Fernando, Luke, Felipe, Rodrigo, friends? You're most welcome to participate. And the children, when we came home and there was like rocket attack again this afternoon, I was so happy because when we went to the supermarket, it was the time that all the children were returning home. So I said, at least they arrived at their homes, and it just happened after. This is the life here in Israel. Yes. And in spite of everything, people are, not that there is a personal doership, but everything is working and open. The supermarkets, the banks, the coffees. I mean, coffee houses are open, the shops, in spite of everything. Public transportation, it is open. This is the great, in a way, frontier, to open and to enable all facilities in spite of those poor trials from crazy people to prevent normal life. Yes, Abigail, yes, somehow it will exhaust itself, or the script will be changed, but so far it doesn't seem to be even scraping the end of it. This is larger, what is happening here, and much larger. This is not conflict between Israel and Iran or with those terrorist groups. It's like insane times, insane times, really. Since the corona, there's like easy, I mean, in terms of economy, until the corona times, the banks gave huge loans with no interest, and people were surfing on it. And after the corona, there's like a change, game-changing mode. And it's not the same thing. Not free money. And people cannot play circus anymore. And this is what it is. This is a mechanism of the creation. Yes, there's a development. Like Weinreb writes, there's a development when there's extreme development, something happens and there's a switch to stop. Cannot be exponential development. Yes, Cindy? Maybe you can. Yes, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. How do you do?
Good. Thank you for sharing this, your current state of affairs. Sounds really awful and horrible. And thank you for continuing these classes and speaking with us, being brave. And it just was kind of reminding me of the stories of David when he's running from Saul, but also maybe in the meantime killing the people that Saul was supposed to have killed, but he didn't. And just how this story has been with the Hebrew people from the beginning, I guess. And it's an honor, but it's also a target, and it's very hard. I don't speak from personal experience. It's from what I read and then what I witness. So yes, thank you for yeah, I agree, Abigail. Thank you for your teaching us in and through this, and just in all of the other ways too. And I thought I would, if you are okay with this, read a song in Hebrew. I began listening to it on Shabbat, and it is very beautiful. I don't think I'll say all of these things right, but
Yes,
you might understand, or you probably know the song.
Please.
Yes, but okay, so Ana Bekoak Gedulat Yemika Atir Dora Tabel Rinat Amcha Dagvenu Aharenu Nora Na Gibor Dorsey Yikutka Avavat Jamram Arkim Aharem Achame Bikaka Amid Gamlem Asin Kodash Bero Tuha Nahel Adatecha Yaki Leamka Pene Zokre Kadushateka Dabatenu Abel Ushma Da Akatenu Yode Ata Alumot. I hope you understand.
Of course. Thank you so much. Yes, Ana Bechoach. Yes. Gdulat Yemincha. Yes, you and your, yes. The ability of the infinite to open the finite. Yes. Gdulat Yemincha Tatir Tzorah. You shall open what the narrow passage of the times. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Here's Luke and Adi and Felipe. Yeah. Thank you so much. What a nice initiation. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, this is the spirit of the times that we are living in. Yes, everything comes from the same source. Yes. It is interesting. It is quite interesting. And in a way, the question that Yanis asked about the Jacob dream, why suddenly there's a movement between the name Israel and twice Jacob, Jacob. Life, what we see in the eyes. And now I move it to a different perspective, because before it was sharing what is happening here because you asked. So I shared the life as we experience while seeing it is a dreaming, because dreaming, how do we dream at night? When we dream at night, it means we see something. What is the meaning of dreaming? Is to be able to see things. So our life here is also a dreaming. Yes, dreaming is also something linear. It has to do with the eyes. And when Jacob has this dream, the vision, God says to him, Jacob, Jacob, twice. In a way, be aware. So it has been said in the verse, and he's to Israel, and then it moves Jacob, Jacob, Jacob has a vision, and then God says, Jacob, Jacob, don't be afraid to descend to Egypt. So our life here is dreaming. This is what we see. This is now at the moment of manifested. Yes, this is not in a way the being. This is why there's a movement between Israel, so to speak, the nomenon. Yes, or the tree of life to Jacob, Jacob. So with all what is happening now, yes, this is what we experience in the visualization during the days, the nights we are sharing with you. There's nothing, no need to hide. This is what is happening. But this is in a way dreaming. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I shift from daily life here, or what happened in the last few days, to speak from another perspective. Did you notice the movement? Do you understand the movement or not? There's also movement in the tone of voice, if you noticed. Just today, André noticed, he says, in 1991, there was a Gulf War. And during this war, the Iraq government decided to send rockets to Israel, ballistics. So after this war, Israel, because houses were damaged and could be harmed, yes. So Israel came with this regulation of building that whenever now from 91 and on, there's like a new plan to build a building or a neighborhood, every apartment or house will have a security room or a bunker. This was an upgrade since the Gulf War. And since 91, this is what the law of building says, and this is how the authorities are working when they build new houses or apartments or so. So thanks to this rocket attack in 91, now when there's all kinds of different bombings on Israel, not everyone, but those apartments that were built from the 91 or were renovated, they have a security room. So you see, at the moment when you experience, it sounds hard But during the time there is a reason for everything. Plus what we experience, or the body or the senses are telling us, and the senses are working like animals. When there's attack and you look for the refuge, it's like animal. So, but the response of the body, yes, in time and space, is not who we are. Do you understand? What gets exhausted and tired and stretched is not who we are. Yes, yes, yes. Those things are happening. The bombing, people are running to take refuge, sirens, explosives, all of those things are happening. We can testify, you can record them, you can photo them. They are, they appear in the manifested, they occur in the manifested, but this is not who we are. We are is infinite consciousness. That, in a way, was never been born and never will die. So the limited system, the body, so to speak, receives those signals. There's a bomb, go, jump, protect yourself, yes. And the senses already broadcasting, there is a danger to what? To the body, but not to the consciousness, not to the infinite. Yes, yes, Adi, yes. So when there's like intense happening, like this weekend, at some point, even the communication with you about changing of the hour, usually every season we make sure that though Discord is working, we send also like text messages informing about the clock change, or so winter clock or summer clock, or they save, how do you say in English? They speak from left to right. So we inform you. We send this converter. And this weekend, there was so many things are going on here that this one slipped to communicate about the changing of the clock. By the way, I would like to ask you, since now there's a movement of time. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's correct, Cindy. I would like to ask you now about the time. Do you find this new timing convenient for you, or shall we initiate the next session in a way 4 o'clock Israel time, and we keep your timeline as it is? How does it feel from your side? How do you feel with this? Does it fit you? Because Brazil never changes, the same clock all the time. How it is with Luke? Yes, Abigail, Cindy, how is the system working in the States in terms of timing? Okay. Rodrigo, how it is for you? Okay. We might, since now the sunset is quite soon, so we might move into 4, meaning so far we were meeting on Israel 17 hours, which is 5 afternoon. But now, according to the sunset, which is quite early, we might move on Thursday to start at 16 hours, 4 o'clock. Yes, and it will convert. So I will send you again another text message with the right time in each state that you will have the right time. It was a very interesting conversation. It is still very interesting. From one side, since Cindy asked about sharing, so there's a sharing, the space and the time, but there's another perspective, which is never being touched. Yes? Whatever happens, this consciousness, infinite consciousness, can never be harmed or damaged. Can never. This is why the Bible says it is transparent. This is transparency. If you have any questions, Luke, about Raphael, about Rodrigo, about Tobias, please feel free. Thank you. Tobias is a very beautiful book. It was written, according to what I read, Tobias' book was written 800 years, if I'm not mistaken, before the New Testament. Yes? The New Testament was written or composed from different parts of text 400 years Common Era. And Tobias' book was written 400 years before. So there is 800 years between Tobias' book and the New Testament. This is a very beautiful story, and I would like to thank you, Rodrigo, for sharing Tobias' story with us, or Tobias' book with us. Nothing has changed since Tobias' book to our times. Nothing has changed. It's the same pattern. Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Rodrigo, Felipe, Cindy, Abigail, Luke, Fernando, Adi, friends on YouTube, Ellen. Thank you so much for participating, listening, sharing those moments with us. We appreciate this a lot, a lot. It is quite interesting because someone, I think Abigail says, sometimes it will fade out, all of this. The change, in a way, this Shabbat, the Shabbat Bereshit, was 385 or 6 days from the beginning. So it was, I noticed this pattern, like Weinreb wrote about it in his book. The change, the suddenly oppositing the direction, this Shabbat action. It happened according the pattern, how is it, pattern that Weinreb share in his book, and those that we're learning together. The change happened according to the, it's amazing. Of course, not, you cannot speak about those things. Not that somebody really planned it, or, somewhere, like, those things are not, it's beyond any person's sovereignty. Yes, or calculation. This Shabbat. There was a change. Like Weinreb reports in his book, you can check every sentence that he wrote, and this is right. It is much, much beyond our calculation and understanding. Of course, you cannot speak about those things to people. They don't like to hear those things. They are freaking out if you just offer something like that. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for participating in this very, very unique session. Today is a very unique session, not just because it's Bereshit, because what is happening. Thank you so much. Shavua Tov, Shana Tova, and we shall meet you again here. Thank you, Felipe. On Thursday, we shall exchange text regarding the right hour or the right time. Shavua Tov, Fernando. Shavua Tov, friends. Shana Tova. And see you soon. Thank you for your good friendship and honest friendship. Toda and shalom. Shalom, shalom.